Welcome to Trading Nation. I'm Mike Santoli. Let's take a look at some old tech stocks, all flying high so far this quarter. Look at the likes of Apple, Microsoft, Cisco, even IBM, that old laggard, soaring double digits. So now the question is, are these still stocks to bet on, or should you rotate out of them right here? Let's talk about that with J.C. O'Hara. He's with MKM Partners, and Chad Morganlander from Washington Crossing Advisors. JC, a lot of these stocks, these are like the greatest tech stocks of 20 years ago. A lot of them did nothing for a long time. Now they've revived. How do some of the charts look for you?
Well, to answer your question right away, some of these charts look fantastic. And what I especially like what happened recently was this creation of the new sector, telecommunications sector. So that really forced us to reevaluate, hey, do we want to be owning technology right here? So we went through a bunch of these technology names, and we took the charts back as long as we could. And from a long-term perspective, these charts are fabulous. They're breaking out to new highs. Now, what we specifically like about long-term breakouts is these charts were forgotten about. Sentiment deteriorated, ownership was at low levels, and now all of a sudden, you're seeing this revived enthusiasm. So that really gets us excited. So, for example, if you look at Oracle, the stock, was up in 2000, came crashing down. It was trading at $7, and it took years and years and years to kind of, move back to retest those 2000 highs. But look what happened when it did. When it broke above 46, which was the 2000 high, it rocketed higher. For the better part of this year, we kind of saw a small consolidation, but we really believe if we get above 53, this thing is off to the races. We have another 15-20% baked into it. So a chart that we really, really like. And just touching on the sentiment point of view, look at the covering analysts on the street. 50% of them have a hold on this name. So now all of a sudden we have a stock that's breaking out to all-time highs. We have sentiment neutral at best. So we think this is a great setup longer term.
Now, and in Cisco, is it a similar story there?
Excuse me?
In Cisco, is that a similar story?
Similar story, similar setup. We had the careen from the 2000 highs. It kind of was a forgotten about stock, kind of trucked along. Trends were slow, but they were rising. And then all of a sudden, we broke above long-term resistance at 35. And again, look what happened at the chart. When we broke above, it rocketed higher. So again, there's something going on with these charts. There's this renewed sense of positive sentiment. Look into it. Cisco, we think, while it's still way below the 2000 highs at $80, we think, this stock could be at 60 in the short term. So these are two stocks that we want to own right here.
And Chad, from a fundamental perspective, that these obviously are now mature, relatively slow growth businesses, high cash flows. What's the case from your perspective, if you like any of them?
So, Mike, I think you summed it up perfectly. You have cash flow that's extremely high. Yes, it is low growth, but low expectations are built into both of these names. The market multiples of both of these companies is well below the future PE multiple of the S&P 500. So we would be buyers of these names. When you look at a name like Oracle, for example, if they can move their revenue base to a greater majority of it being cloud computing, then you're going to see a multiple expansion far in excess of where it is now. So we also think that Oracle, as well as the Cisco systems, could do quite well in the next 18 months, regardless of how technology does overall as a sector. Also, a couple of things to note about both of these companies. Huge amounts of cash on the balance sheet, very little debt, rising dividend companies that could pay you over the course of the next 3 to 5 years. Both of these companies have a nice fundamental setup. We would be buyers.
All right. Chad, JC, thanks very much. Time to keep your eye on those old tech stocks. Thanks for joining us. See you next time on Trading Nation.